guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ada, and in this channel I give knowledge and tips on living in Germany, how to relocate to Germany either as an employee or as a student, and everything in between. So if you're looking out for this kind of content, please go through some of my videos. I'm sure I would have done something that you probably like, or if you need me to make a video on a topic that you're interested in, you can just leave a comment in the comment section and I'll try my best. All right, so from the title of this video, you should already know that we're going to be talking about filing taxes in Germany. Now, the reason we have to discuss this is because this is the first month in the year, so it's basically tax file season, and most employees, freelancers, and students are looking to file their taxes this year. However, the number of questions, things that you're not sure of, things you want, a little bit of clarity on how to file your taxes, and this video is here to address some of those questions. And I'm looking forward to making a follow-up video on, this same topic as regards filing taxes. So just keep on the lookout for that. All right. Okay. So first things first, let's clear the air on this. If you're working in Germany, you're subject to being taxed, right? Except your income is below the minimum wage, and the minimum wage is 450 euros per month. So if you earn 450 euros per month or less, you wouldn't get taxed. However, if you earn 450 euros and above, you're going to get taxed in Germany, right? And there are different tax classes in Germany, depending on your family situation. By family situation, I mean your marital status, right? Or whether or not you have kids. So if you're married in Germany, of course, you're going to pay less taxes. If you're single without kids, you fall under tax class 1. However, if you're married, divorced, or you have children, single parents, so on and so forth, you fall either between tax class 2 to 5. And if you're a freelancer or you have more than one source of income, you typically categorized into tax classes. And for you to get your tax ID, you need to already be registered here in Germany. You have to have your Anmeldung, get an appointment to the Finanzamt to get your tax ID. These are some of the basic things you need to have for your tax return in Germany. Who needs to do this? If you're an employee in Germany and you have just one source of income, that's from your employer, it's not compulsory for you to apply for a tax return in Germany. However, if you have more than one source of income, even as an employee, and you make up to 410 euros annually, then you need to file for a tax return. On the other hand, if you're a freelancer and you earn or you make up to 110 euros annually, then it's also compulsory for you to file for a tax return. Another case where you need to file for a tax return is if you've worked for more than one employer in a year. So if you've changed jobs in the space of 1 year, you need to file for a tax return. And if you have two sources of income, so say for instance, from a full-time job and from a mini job, you need to file for a tax return as well. If you fall under any of these categories, freelancer or a self-employed person that earns up to 810 euros annually, an employee that has an additional income of up to 410 euros annually. If you have two sources of income, either as a full-time employee and a mini job, or if you've changed jobs within the year, you need to file for a tax return. Another set of people that need to file for a tax return is if you're married and you fall within tax class 3, 4, or 5, you need to file for a tax return. Or if you're divorced and remarried in the same year, you also need to file for a tax return. If you're an expat that recently moved to Germany, you haven't worked for up to 1 year, wondering whether or not you qualify to file for a tax return. Remember, as I said, if you have just one source of income, it's not compulsory for you. But if you want to file for a tax return, you need to have already worked in Germany for 183 days. Because if you've worked in Germany for 183 days, then you qualify to have your tax deducted, and then you qualify to get your tax return. If you work for up to 6 months, then typically you can file for your tax return. So how can you apply for your tax return? Now, there are different ways you can apply for your tax return. Some people may decide to apply for this themselves. Some others can decide to apply using the help of a Steuerberatung, like a tax advisor that is specialized in helping people file for their tax return. It's up to you. If you decide to apply on your own, you can use the ELSA tool. It's called the Elektronische Steuererklärung. Or you can decide to apply for your taxes using other easier tools like TaxFace, SteuerGo, etc. to file for your taxes. Some very, wonderful things about using some of these platforms. First off, they are in English, so it simplifies the whole process for you. Some of them give you a step-by-step guide. So you follow the process, a step-by-step guide on how to, file your taxes. For some of them too, you can save your progress so far. So if you don't want to do the whole process in one day, you can save your progress so far and then submit whenever you're ready to submit. And when you run into an issue, you can call their English speaking help desk or customer support, and they can give you some form of assistance. The only time I recommend to use a Stoya Beratung or a tax advisor is if you're a freelancer or you have more than one source of income. So it typically makes the whole process complex, and is always better to use a Stoya Beratung to help you file your taxes in that case. Now, there are a couple of documents you need for your tax declaration. But one very important one is your Lohnsteuer Bescheinigung. This is a summary of all of your income for the year, right? And you can find this document where you download your payslips. As an employee, your employer should already give you access to a platform where you can download your payslips each month. So you can either have the HR team or the payroll team send you your payslips each month. But the most important thing is that wherever it is you get your payslip, that is typically where you're going to get your Lohnsteuer Bescheinigung. So if you download your payslips, or you get your payslips from a platform, then there's a very high chance you're also going to get your Lohnsteuer Bescheinigung from that same platform. And a couple of platforms that you can use to download your payslip, depending on what your company uses. So you have Datev, you have Imedis, and so on and so forth. And so while it's possible that you can get your Lohnsteuer Bescheinigung at the end of the year, which is usually in December, there's also a possibility that it might get delayed. And so don't be too much in a hurry. If you don't already have your Lohnsteuer Bescheinigung, maybe say by the end of January or February. But I would advise that you reach out to your HR or your payroll team if you don't already have your Lohnsteuer Bescheinigung at the end of February or March the following year. This is because the deadline for filing your tax return is usually the 31st of July the following year. So by then you should have already filed your tax return. However, there's a possibility of, extending or prolonging the timeline. But as a freelancer or as an employee that typically has more than one source of income, it's compulsory for you to file for your taxes, right? And so if you don't extend, the possibility that you pay a fine of 25 euros for each month you file your taxes late. One very important benefit of filing your taxes is that there's a possibility you're going to get some money back. Because even in Germany, as I said, if you're employed here, of course, you pay a lot of, taxes. And then if you also go to a shop, maybe a restaurant to buy stuff, there's also this value-added tax that you pay. It's usually 19% of, the cost of what you're buying. And so there's a possibility that, when you file for your taxes, you get some of this money back. Imagine having this extra money, right? One thing you should actually be aware of is that after you submit your tax returns, the Finanzamt wouldn't get back to you immediately. It takes about 8 to 12 weeks before they can get back to you. And sometimes when they get back to you, they give you, the documents, or they can refund some money back to you directly into your account, or they could ask for additional payments, invoices, receipts, and so on and so forth, just to prove some of the tax deductions that you've applied for. And if that's the case with you, then it means it's going to take even longer before they can respond to you. So let's talk about filing your taxes during the corona times. So if, for instance, you received any form of aid from the government, either as Kurzarbeitergeld, which is money received for short-time work, received an amount for the corona grants or aid for freelancers, compensation due to legal restrictions. So for instance, if you were stopped from going to work because of the coronavirus, and you received, some form of compensation each month for that, Krankengeld. So if say you had corona, you're hospitalized, and you received some money for that, you need to file this for your taxes. Something else you need to know is that as an employee, there's a possibility that you can file your taxes after 4 years of living in Germany. So if you don't file your taxes each year, you can accumulate this and file this after 4 years of living in Germany. But this is only if it is not compulsory for you, which means you fall under the employee with just one source of income, right? However, if you have multiple sources of income as an employee or you are a freelancer, please file your taxes each year. And as I said, the deadline is usually the 1st of July of the following year. If you worked in Germany for up to 183 days, and say you left Germany, maybe you went back to your home country or you relocated to a new region, you can actually file your taxes in Germany for the last year, right? Say, for instance, you worked from January to December 2021, but then you left Germany January 2022 to a different country, for instance, the Netherlands, and you want to file your taxes for the time period you worked in 2021 while you're in Germany, you can also do this. However, you need to update and provide your new address or new bank details. You no longer have your German bank details, because that's where some of the tax return would be paid into. I hope you find this video helpful and I've been able to clear some of the questions you probably have as regards filing taxes in Germany. In order not to make this video too long, in my next video I'm going to talk about the different kinds of deductions you can file in your taxes, either as a freelancer, a student, or as an employee. I hope you keep it locked, and please, if you've not subscribed and you really like this channel, you really like this video, first off, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It's for free. And if you find this video helpful, or you think this video is going to be helpful to someone else, please do well to share this video with, your friends, your colleagues, your co-workers. And I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.